Oh,
you
so
know.
you didn't even know that their earpieces were gone.
Right. Now I plugged into my ear pack so I could listen to what
okay.
And there was nothing.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, uh-oh. So but
meanwhile, the show is still going.
well, the show's still, it doesn't
He's
stop.
got to put out a fire that's going on over here.
Well, and the problem was the gear that I needed to look at was up at the stage, and it was outdoors on this big street full of people.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Making It. My name is Kenan Cooley, and I am with the illustrious.
Illustrious. That means light. That's me, Alvin.
That's
Shear.
you. That's
hey,
you,
Kenan.
Lights.
I got light.
But who cares about light? Because right now we're going to talk to a guy about sound.
Sound, nicely done. Sonic beauty, ear candy, they call it. Yes. The guy that makes it all happy. Yeah.
You know what I call him? The genius behind the genius.
Right. I like that. When he does his job right, nobody.
You guys look great.
Yeah, but nobody. When he does his job right, nobody knows. When
nobody knows, but if he doesn't do it,
who's on sound?
Exactly. Yes, because in our industry, especially on my side of the table, you can put something over top of video, but you cannot change sound. If it's screwed, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
It is.
He is the guy to talk about. He's the foundation. From one foundation to another foundation, I truly appreciate who this guy is, what he brings to the table. We're speaking of Mr. Sonic Audio himself, Mr. Tony Huerta.
Tony Huerta.
Welcome, Tony.
Tony.
How's it going?
So we were setting you up, brother. We were saying that when Tony does his job, he gets no credit. When he's killing it, nobody gives him any thanks. When something goes awry, Tony.
Yep.
You got that kind of job.
And I called you the genius behind the genius, Tony.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Yeah. I want you to know that, that you're the genius behind the genius. And it's true, because as I was saying to Alvin, if you mess up sound, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do to cover it. You can cover video, but you cannot change sound.
You can't go back and fix it. It's a one-shot deal. It is. Once it's done, once it's bad, it's bad.
Once it's mud, it's always mud.
Yeah. That's the hard part about my job, And then you're right. No one notices when it's great.
Yes, but you are that guy.
But you're great.
Tell us about what you do, Tony.
So today we're noticing it. Yes, tell us about it.
All right. Well, I am a live sound engineer and studio recording engineer also. But
completely different animals.
Totally different. Yeah. Very different. Studio work is very controlled. You get a 7th or 8th or 10th chance to get it right. You remix it, you fix it, whatever. I get Melodyne, I make people in tune. I can fix timing.
Never happens.
Tuning. Oh, never. I can fix timing and tuning, but I can't fix emotion, and I can't fix like the delivery and the actual voice. So live
talent thereof.
Yeah, and live there is no second chance. It's got to be right, and it's got to be then. It has to be now, and it's not just you in a studio with a client. It's you with 2,000 clients.
That's a good way to look at it.
2,000 people sitting there and being critical of everything that happens. And my job is to be transparent, to be not there, not even noticed.
I got a question for you. As you're dealing with the two different clients in the two different worlds, which is more psychologically demanding, emotionally?
Front of house live sound. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would think so.
Absolutely. It is a brain mess. By the time I'm done, it's like mushy, and you gotta, it's a mess, after I'm done. That's why when I go back to the hotel room after the gig, I'm like, oh, I gotta sleep because we got 5 hours until we got to be in the lobby,
Right.
Go to the next gig or go home, and I just lay there. I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Because your brain is
redoing stuff.
Redoing stuff and really just must be endorphins. It must be that rush of everything that I was trying to work on that day to make sure that the concert went off, like leaving my body, it's really hard to calm down and relax. And
well, you know, I think that if I had to like put my 2 cents in, having done live and recorded or for video, there's something about when it's live, you have no time for second guessing. So you have to like, you have to stay on top of yourself, this, that, and whatever. And then finally you're like, wait, I'm done. Like, and your brain's finally like, I can relax, but you can't relax because you've still been doing it for 3 hours. So it's, I think it's that, like you said, that rush of never being able to like, you can't stop. Like with recordings in the studios, you can stop. You can say, okay, let's try that again. But
wait, hold on. Let's do it again. Hold on. Yeah. Can't do that live. Now,
no, you cannot. Which one do you like?
Hold on, crowd. Hold on. They didn't mean it.
Wait, now with Take 6, sometimes we do like a TV taping, and it's like someone else will mess up, like the camera crew or somebody, and they're like, wait. And they stop it, and they're like, let's do it again. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, we can't stop. He can't stop, but they can stop.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference, Tony, to which audio you would prefer? Like if you had to only do one?
Live.
Live. Oh,
do you like the pressure?
You like the adrenaline.
I like the pressure, yeah.
Okay.
And I like the human interaction with the artist, you know, like with Take 6. I love working with the 6. You know, even the 7, when you get the tour manager in there, you know, I treat him differently than I do the 6, you know, the artists. So
we do too. We don't.
I'm gonna tell.
So did you have a mentor in either one of these, or did you learn everything on the fly and by your own powers?
Everything on the fly, both sides of the world. Yeah. Everything on the fly. I learned. Well, I was one of my friends worked for a radio station in Denver, and he's like, "Hey, I know you do recording. The 2 guys at the radio station need to take vacations, and you know, I heard you do recording." And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, just come into the studio. We'll teach you, you know, how to upload files and stuff at this radio station." It was an intercom station, so they had four broadcasting radio stations there, and they're like, "Yeah, we use Pro Tools." And I was like, "Oh, I don't use Pro Tools," but there I was, you know. So I took those 2 weeks of covering for other studio engineers at a radio station to learn Pro Tools. That's where I learned it. It was all day, every day, you know, making commercials. That was my start in the studio world of Pro Tools, and actually, you know, then buying my own Pro Tools system and all that.
So a quick question. I've got a theory on mastering mastering, let's just say Pro Tools. Okay. I won't share my theory yet. I want to hear what you think. What do you think? How do you know when you have mastered it?
Okay, are you talking about mastered it like myself being confident in what I'm doing and mastering the skill?
Yes, and being able to help others, which is what you do for me.
Oh, got it. I thought you meant mastering, like taking a track.
Oh, no.
Oh,
you're being way too inside. No, just mastering.
That's his world. That's what he's got.
Yeah.
What else would I think?
Not mixing and mastering, just mastering it.
Yeah, I would say
potato, whatever.
And I think you're exactly you said, is that when people start to ask your opinion and ask for help from you, that's what because if you don't know what you're doing or you haven't learned enough up until that point, they're not going to ask you. They're going to be like, he's almost, I don't know, I'm going to call someone instead, right? No, but they, like when I get a phone call from Alvin once a week.
Twice a week.
But yes, tell me all the dirt. Tell me.
Oh, no, he literally taught me everything in Pro Tools.
Sometimes he's in weeds, like he's got something that's got to get done now, and
it's always now.
Wait, hold on a second. He taught you everything?
Everything.
I didn't know.
Everything. Yes, I've woken up Tony so many times in a cold sweat, and the thing that drives me bananas about Tony, which is the best thing about Tony, is he's always like, "Hey, man, Tony! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!" That's all I need to say. He's like,
so that
hey, let's take it easy.
Was actually a segue because you're talking about as a master. He's like, yeah, I'm mastering when I keep on having to talk to you every day. Right.
Well, even in his mastering, his definition of mastering is a whole nother level. What I was getting ready to say, when I consider that I have mastered something, is when I have screwed up every possible way every
yeah.
possible thing that makes me not being able to record or think, and I can come back from that.
Yep.
I know I got it. Like, that's just the flip the blah blah blah, hit the doopty blah, whippy blippy blah.
The messing things up leads to mastering what you're working.
True.
Right.
And okay, everyone says like 10,000 hours of doing something and learning it. That's 10,000 hours of messing things up.
Yes.
Of
sweat.
So you can learn actually how not to mess it up moving forward.
Right.
And but I think at that point people start to realize that, that this guy can help me. So
and with time you mess up less or you can recover quicker, one of the two, right? So if something, because as with audio or with entertainment or with technology, something can happen and you can't control it, right? But you have to have a backup. Like I've seen Tony with you guys and he's like, I got 400 mics. I think that one set is for you guys and one set for the backup, and the backup is for the backup. So I know that he's already ready. But I think even with all of that, if the power goes out or if one mic doesn't want to work or one plug-in or outlet,
and even for our live sets, I mean, Tony's running stuff to be recorded, and he's running two different systems that are connected. And he's got Dante going and all of this stuff, and he's doing stuff. We clicking beats and setting the verbs, and he's jamming back there and he's beatboxing, feeling himself.
As I said, the genius behind the genius.
And something like the last gig we did, we had something go wrong.
And I don't think I know about that. So that shows you how good you handled it.
Your in-ears went out.
Yeah, it sure did.
What went out? What went out?
Their in-ears.
In-ear monitors.
Hear what they were doing. Yeah.
All of them? All 6 of them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we just had to keep going and just kind of looking at each other where we give each other the look like, they're gone.
The pros, And they look at me and they give me like hand signals like,
Tony, oh my God.
And I'm like, what, trying to figure it out based on the hand signal stuff, looking at my board, what's going on, checking this, checking that.
So you didn't even know that their earpieces were gone.
Right. Now I plugged into my ear pack so I could listen to what and there was nothing.
Right.
Oh wow.
So I was like, but
meanwhile the show is still going.
It doesn't stop.
You've got to put out a fire that's going on over here.
Well, and the problem was the gear that I needed to look at was up at the stage and it was outdoors on this big street full of people.
Right.
So
I was excuse me, come through, excuse me, show me through.
Pushing through people, excuse me, and I get up there, and as soon as I get up there, it turns back on.
Oh wow, that's about right.
Yeah. Oh no, now I don't know what's wrong. That was the problem.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
But keep cool, keep calm, take a look at it, whatever.
One time, this is gonna be me. I'm not even letting Tony speak. This is me bragging on Tony. One time we were dealing with a situation. We had a big production show where it was several acts and several different changes and different things, and something like huge was going on. I don't know if you remember this, Tony. It was like the Ray Charles show or something like that, we didn't have like a signal to the air or something like that, and we were up against the deadline, and all kinds of stuff was going on. And I remember hearing Tony say to himself, "All right, find the problem, work the solution, track it back." And we're like, "Oh my God." I think Tony's name should be Tony. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I must have had my mic turned on.
Yeah.
In your ear. You heard me.
Yeah. It was almost like a little mantra. Find the problem, track it down, work the solution. Find the problem, track it down, click, 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 boom, we're back.
Signal flow. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was.
From the start. Yeah. Or when, some of my artists will be like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
But we'll find out.
I don't know, but I'm going to go through, from the start to the finish of where the audio should go.
Right.
And I'll find it. It might take me a minute. It might be the first thing I look at.
Yeah.
It might be
just as an artist, Tony, I just want you to know that your calm demeanor is at the same time reassuring and frustrating. Because we want you to know that the world is actually on fire.
Oh, it's not.
Are you burning
up? What
up?
do you want him to do? You want him to run around and scream like you?
I want him to be like, "Oh my God, Alvin. Oh my God, Tony."
I had a guy. Okay, I got a guy to fill in for me when I was doing like this, I don't know, the sing-off tour or something with the TV show or something. And I got this guy who's a really good engineer, great ears, every mix I'd heard was amazing.
Mm.
Guys, after they worked with him, they're like, I don't know. He makes us nervous. I'm like, why?
Oh, see.
Because when we had an issue, he started like profusely sweating.
Yeah.
Kind of running around and stuff. And they're like, yeah, he makes us nervous. Can we not work with him?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I see, Tony, I think Alvin is saying that, but then if you did start acting crazy, he would be panicking more. So keep calm.
Yeah.
Keep calm and do your job.
There have been a few times when they show up to the gig and I've got some serious stuff going on that I'm trying to work out with the production crew or the venue or whatever. And I got to go in the dressing room and be like, hey, it's going to be a minute.
Right. And we always know that you have it. Yeah. And we don't mind because we could just eat more snacks. So it's
right.
Not,
and that has to be but I'm telling you, when you know what you're doing, that has to be reassuring as an artist to have somebody like Tony who has it. You don't have to go around running around. You sit there, keep eating your snacks, and Tony runs around and he has it. And you know you're going to sound good.
Yeah. And I never even realized how much he does for our live show and in productions until I had to function as stage manager one time.
That was cool.
It was a night and day experience from just being an artist, showing up, eating snacks, croissants in your sound check.
Croissants with your salad.
Yeah. Oh man, there's all kind of fires being put out and personality stuff that's going on and unions that are tripping, and every hall has a different personality set by the stage manager, and all it's just a bunch of different stuff going on. So
when you walk into a venue, there's a bunch of ego going on. The main guy that like owns the tech, right? There's an ego. Then there's the sound guy who used to tour with, like, I don't know, Jason Aldean or I don't know, Stevie Wonder or something, but now he's in a theater because he sat down, he's getting old, he doesn't want to tour anymore. And that guy got a big old chip on his shoulder, and so you got to walk in and, man, you got to break through that with a good joke.
Then that's what you do? Where we bring Tony in for stuff and like it's a network thing and he can't actually physically touch the board, but he can say fader 2.
Yeah. But I got
you saying Tony can't touch the board?
Oh yeah. Like we did the Paul Simon thing, right? And during that whole thing, I was just there with the engineer at the front of house. I was like, oh no, we need more subs. We need more subs. We need Alvin to come through. He sings down to like 45 hertz. And he's like, 45 hertz. And I was like, yeah. So we got to have Alvin through that low end. And do you have an octave? Can you put an octave on?
But he's got to massage the guy. He can't just, turn this up.
And the first thing he said to me is like, don't worry, man. I've been doing these kind of shows for like 30 years. And I was like, yeah, you have. You're amazing. You're amazing. So yeah, That's
why you'll know what I mean. Turn it up.
I'll give you the nuances of what I would like for my guys. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, that works, So
you have to be an engineer and a psychologist. Is that
yeah. Be cool.
Got to massage us. He's got to stay out of the way. And then everything goes perfectly, gets no credit.
Right.
No one cares.
And that's why we brought him here.
Don't give him his credit. We're giving him
credit.
So Tony, tell me, have you always liked to do sound? Is there any other career paths you've taken to get here, or any you want to take going forward? Was it always about sound for you?
And I went to school to be a vocal performance major, jazz.
Wow.
Yeah, did that. Then I kind of lost I don't know. I didn't think I was going to make it.
Oh, okay.
So I switched over to education. So I was like, yeah, I could teach music. Got into that for one semester in college. And I was like, no way, man, I'm not going to do that. Dropped out of the music school, went to school for broadcast journalism.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I never finished. Finished college. I ended up getting into singing with a local band, then singing with an a cappella group. That a cappella group, we bought studio equipment. I learned it, recorded a project. Other people started to hire me to record their projects. And it just kind of started to work that way. Then those studios started having me do live sound for them. So I started to learn live sound. Was into that for 2 or 3 years, plus the studio. That was like, local groups, bands, stuff, right?
Okay.
And then I met Mark Kibble from Take Six.
Oh wow, that's who started you. Okay.
He was a clinician at the All-State Vocal Jazz Choir in Colorado. And I worked with him for like 2 days on this little high school sound system, And the second day, right before the concert, we were eating pizza and sitting there talking to him. I'm talking to one of my idols at this point,
Oh wow.
Oh man. I mean, it's like sitting across the table from one of the most important people in your musical life. That was Mark.
Wow.
Get it.
Oh wow.
Take Six as a whole, but Mark was the only one there. So, and he goes, you know what? You're really easy to work with. You should go on the road with us.
Wow.
I almost fell off my chair, but I didn't want to look that cool. I wanted to stay cool. So
stay cool, right? Exactly.
Like, well, here's my business card. And I gave it to him. And Chris Palmer, the management, called me about 2 weeks later and asked me if I'd go to Ecuador.
Wow, you started hard.
I didn't know it was Ecuador. He called me and said, do you have your passport? And I said, no. He's like, okay, hang up. I'm going to email you your airline tickets. Print those off, take it to the passport office, and you have to show it to them so that we can expedite your passport because we're leaving in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I get the airline tickets, and it's first class tickets to Ecuador. That was like the moment that I was like, maybe I've arrived.
Yes.
Like, what? That's when I fell off my chair. So
that's when you fell.
Oh man. So then I had to fight to get my passport in time. And I had been divorced at the time. The Department of State thought I was leaving the country to never come back. And I had to do an interview with the Department of State and the passport people. And that was it. That's where I learned that they can make a passport in 20 minutes.
Is that what it took 20 minutes?
Yeah, he took the little picture and walked in the back, 20 minutes, came out, handed me my passport.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know that.
That was the first deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man.
That's amazing.
That was the dream trip of my life.
In live sound or recorded sound, like the Al Schmitz or anything like that?
The what? Sorry, you broke up there.
Have a mentor like Al Schmidt or anybody like that in the engineering side, when you finally were like, okay, this is what I want to
do? I wouldn't say no, but I've worked with several engineers that I have learned a lot from. Especially there's this really great engineer over in Finland.
Wow.
And I did a tour with him and the group Impact, the real group, Rajaton from Finland, which is who he was with, and a group from Australia called Idea of North. Yeah. And I would watch him mix. I'm like, man, how does he do that? Because we're all on analog boards at the time. I mean, it's knobs and a couple of effect units. That's it. But man, what he could get at, like, we're in this big 5,000 seat theater.
Wow.
You wouldn't think you need reverb.
Right.
And so I didn't, because it was roomy enough. And I look over at him and he's running 3 reverb units.
Wow.
And just to pick his brain on how he's doing that to make it so lush and beautiful, but not too big and roomy, I learned a ton. And I can go into details on that, but you don't want to hear it.
Well, actually I do, because honestly, that is in my career as a media production person, that's my weakness. That's my Achilles heel, sound. I can do video, I can do editing, I can do graphics. Just don't ask me to do sound. I try and get to that board and everybody says this knob does that. I go, okay. All I know is you master up and you mix this, and that's it for me. There's just so much to it. I mean, I remember seeing a post on your Facebook where you said the guy was singing in a megahertz or some kind of hertz. I'm like, I didn't know you could sing in a hertz.
Yes.
There's so much to sound that I just don't even understand. It's a lot. It's very deep for me. So, I mean, share away, because honestly, that's what we want. We want people to understand, more about it.
Yeah, I mean, Alvin sings down to 45 hertz. You know what note that is, Alvin?
I do not know. Is that B flat A?
No,
flat.
no, it's like F sharp.
Wow. I didn't.
Well,
Okay,
A,
well, as a novice, how explain what does that mean? So if you're singing it this, you're singing it at such a hertz, or what are
I'll
you saying?
explain it. All right.
Okay.
So do you know what A440 is?
Me? No.
A440, right? That's the typical tuning of an A.
Okay, I know the yeah. I took that much music. I know the notes.
Am I right, Alvin?
Yes.
What do you do?
Is that an
I
A?
was get on the piano, right?
Oh.
A440.
I was right. Okay, so that's an A. That's 440 hertz. You measure waves in hertz, and hertz means how many times does that sound wave go up and down in 1 second?
In 1 second?
In 1 second, 440
Wow.
times. Now, if you cut that in half, it also takes it down 1 octave. So A, 220, A, 110, A, 55.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Yep, A 55. And then if you get down to like an F or G, then you're sitting around 45 hertz or so. So that's why I say Alvin sings down to 45 hertz.
Oh, so the smaller the number, the lower the range.
The smaller the number, the less the waveform oscillates in 1 second. And that distance tells you how low the frequency is. So now you can go to
it's quickly. I mean, that's why I forget a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So like whales speak at 10 hertz, you know. So that only 10 times every second. We can't hear it. We can feel it, but we can't hear it.
Wow.
Here's a cool thing. All right. So you're sitting in your house, right? Somebody drives by your house with their subwoofers thumping or whatever, and all you hear is the low end.
Uh-huh.
Why is that?
I don't know.
You don't hear high end.
Yeah, subs are non-directional, and they travel further, right?
They do, but also it goes into your house because the wavelength is longer than the thickness of the walls of your house.
Deep.
The wavelength. Say that again?
The wavelength is longer than the thickness of the walls in your house.
Oh.
So say a 50 hertz wave is probably that long. We could do the math and figure it out. But if it's that long and your walls are only this thick, then the sound wave goes right through it.
Oh,
the high end is such a fast wave that it'll hit something and just bounce off.
Right.
That's why I have these panels here.
Okay.
It catches all the high end. The low end, it doesn't do anything to the really low end at all. In fact, my low end probably is heard by the neighbors.
Oh.
So,
really?
That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to take this recording and study it later, but no, but that is interesting. And it helps a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly what's going on. Now, what's crazy about the human voice, like I'm mix and take 6, it's 6 voices, right?
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you get that? Okay, yeah, go ahead. That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
I would say it's 6 of the same instrument. They all have different tunings.
Okay.
Alvin's got his frequencies that he sings. You know, Claude sings like from here to way over there. And then, you know, everybody's in between. It all fits together sonically. But the hard part about that is how do you discern 6 of the same instrument at the same time, singing chords that are locking so tight that how do you even find the frequencies to mix them to make it clear and to make it right? And the other thing they do is that during a song they will switch the feel of it and they'll switch the chord structure of it, and so learning when that happens and what I need to do there is also key, you know. So
do you listen to their music, try to train yourself in your ear to what's going on, or are you doing it on the fly and you just getting used to it? I mean, what's really?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I mixed them down in Ecuador, I knew what they should sound like.
Okay. I
just had to make the equipment make them sound like Take 6 should sound, you know, and I was just shooting to make them sound like the first 3 albums, you know. I listened to those albums hundreds of times. I knew what they should sound like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was, and once I got it, you know, that was cool. That was a big moment for me. I was jumping around behind the soundboard there.
back to the human element of it, Tone. When you work with artists that don't have it, just like no, or they don't quite have it. I mean, how do you deal with that? You're there, or how do you worry about coaxing or massaging their personality, or and making sure their feelings aren't hurt, or do you work out the craft of it? What is it like?
Or do you cut their mic?
Oh, when they're in that moment, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
They've already rehearsed, and they are probably at the point in their career where they are at the best point they are at that moment. Right? There's nothing I'm going to say in a sound check that's going to make any difference at all.
Right.
But I'll still go back to the board, and I will take, say, a voice that is kind of honky sounding or nasally, or and I know what frequencies those are. And so if someone's a nasally singer, I'll go in and take out 1K, and I'll take a nice dip out of it. Like the AM, if you think of what an AM radio sounds like, that is 1K.
Yeah.
1,000 hertz. And I'll go and put a dip in there, and then their nasally goes away. So I can massage their frequencies. And the human voice is the most difficult instrument on the planet.
Second it only to human emotion.
Okay, but have you ever been blamed for sound? Like, say if somebody, as Alvin pointed out, is not that great a singer, but then they come back and say you were the problem, or anything like that?
I haven't gotten that.
Okay.
I usually make them sound better than they are.
Than they are. They probably come back saying, thank you very much.
Yeah, usually I'm like, I did. Sound better than they are, but I mean, the voice is tough, and the ego is tough. The ego, the psychology of working with an artist is that, like Alvin's seen me do this. I work with the Ray Charles thing that we do, right? And I have two other singers on that show. It's not just Take Six. It's Nina Freelon and Clint Holmes, and they are different type of performer that performs as a soloist all the time.
Right.
Totally different than Take Six, who's singing as an ensemble of 6 guys all the time. Big difference. And then so what they need to hear in their monitors, and what they need as far as like a little holding of hands to get them comfortable in their monitors, that's the key. That's me getting up there on stage with my iPad and dialing in what they want, what they need. And
making them feel heard.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Was that a pun? I don't.
No, not that smart. It's just making them
feel.
Hearing thing. Yes, we'll make that adjustment.
We'll make that work. Yeah.
Yep. And I make.
Yeah, but you are dealing with artists, and artists, as Erykah Badu would say, they're a little finicky. So don't mess with their stuff.
So I make them feel good on stage, and then when I get out to the front, the performance is already just better.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier once they are comfortable and they feel right. Now, some other artists might walk on stage and listen to their monitor mix and be like, well, that doesn't sound good. And my response would be, well, it's not for you.
And so there.
For them, it's for them. And what they need to hear is not maybe what you need to hear. So,
true.
So,
Tone, these big Frankenstein mixes, is it Aptos?
Atmos. The Dolby Atmos stuff?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Does it get into diminishing returns, or is it better, or do you like it, or is it like, come on, it's a gimmick?
No.
Not a gimmick. It's a listener experience. That's it. It's like when you used to watch a movie when you were a kid and it was in left, right.
Right.
And then they put in 5.1, and it was Dolby also. This is Dolby, coming up with cool ways to listen to new stuff. Movies, now they're taking that idea of Atmos, which is, to me, it's like going to a movie.
Yeah.
Going to a movie. Now you're in 7.1 surround. So 1.1 means the subwoofer, by the way. The 7 is left, center, right, 2 sides, 2 backs. That's the 7 channels, right?
Okay.
It's just giving the listener like a surround sound version of of just normal listen to music. Now, when an artist like Take Six would make a DVD, it's mixed in surround because people would put it in their DVD player and then play it on a surround sound system in their living room.
True. Yeah.
You know, so Atmos is like that. It's the next level of mixing audio in a spatial environment, which makes it cool.
So your industry, you've chosen an industry where you can't get set in your ways.
I was going to say, no. Yeah.
True.
Like you could never go, it's phony, that's gimmicks.
No.
Not if you want to stay employed anyway, right?
Right. Like when I first started with Take Six, it was most of the gigs were on analog boards. You know, you go in there, you get on this board,
that's true.
knobs, and you touch every single knob and fader and everything to make it sound right.
Right.
Now it's digital. I fly with a mixing console that has everything that I've set up on it ready to go. So when the guys put in their in-ears, it sounds the same as the last gig, you know, over and over. I don't have to dial it all in.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Oh, it's just way more efficient. It sounds. And so I had to learn. At first, I didn't travel with a digital console, but I would go into a venue and they would have one.
Okay.
And it was different than the one that I worked on last time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And different than the one I'm going to work on tomorrow. And so I had to learn them all. And that was like a 4 or 5 year time where we were switching from analog to digital in the business. Yeah. And I would pull up the owner's manual of these consoles, you know, on flights and stuff, just to try to learn what I'm walking into, you know. So
wow.
But now I got it finally. I mastered it, Benny.
You mastered it. And you are the master, Tony. And I'm telling you, I'm floored. I'm so enjoying the conversation because it's like I told you, it's one of the things that I don't know much about, and you could always learn so much from it. But I do think it's a craft and a very necessary part of this industry that no one, that as Alvin pointed out earlier, people take for granted. But, you know, we appreciate you, appreciate your time today and taking time out from your busy schedule for us, and keep on pushing out that sound and making the geniuses great by your genius.
You know what? Yeah, they are the geniuses. And if I don't,
you are.
If I don't mess up the concert, then everybody can enjoy their mastery.
Tony, you are the master of what you do, and we appreciate you. You've worked with, I know we could be walking into Carnegie, Tony's got it. We could be walking a little club with a little half board and one speaker going this way. Tony's got it. He'll work it out. I'll be eating snacks.
He's doing snacks.
It's gonna sound good. Yeah. Or when the venue is like, you don't need subwoofers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, we do. And then I show up to set up the sound and there are no subs.
Right.
I was like, well, I don't think Take Six is going to perform without subwoofers. So
get them.
And I'm lying about it. I'm like, you might want to find those.
Right. Wow. Well, thanks so much, Tony, and keep doing what you do, and appreciate you.
All right. Sorry, what?
You have socials?
Yeah. Social media?
Yep. Instagram is Tony Huerta Sound. Facebook is, I think it's also Tony Huerta Sound. You can just Tony Huerta, Huerta Sound, and you'll find me. And if you just Google my name, it pops up, Tony, Tony, Huerta, Huerta. Just Google that. You'll see like a bodybuilder guy that's really orange, and then you'll see me. I beat him out. I've got the first 20 things on Tony.
You got the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know you're also one. We also know you're one other thing. You're also a very proud dad. I know that too.
Oh yeah. Search Tony Take Six. That works every time, no matter what.
Okay, we'll do that. Well, thanks so much, Tony. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.